Hi. Hi, welcome to the Smartwatch show at CES 2014, and we're taking a look at some of the watches at this show that have been the most interesting. I'm Scott Stein.
I'm Bridget Carey.
And we have here Miriam Jouar with Pebble, who is showing off one of the most talked about smartwatches at the show, the Pebble Steel. Now, there are a lot of watches at the show. There are watches that we've heard about. There are watches with new software updates. There are watches that are new startup prototypes. Now, the Pebble Steel is a redesign on the Pebble that came out last year, but there's also, along with that, not just a sexy new look, but there's also an app store that's finally coming out.
Yep.
And this is going to be available by the end of the month.
That's correct.
So we're going to take a look at it. You've heard about it, so we're going to just look at it up close and look
Yep.
at some of its features.
Well, thanks for having me, Scott. This is Pebble Steel. It comes in basically two stainless steel cases. One in this black matte, which is finished in a very durable PVD finish. It's a high-end scratch-resistant finish used in medical and aerospace. And then there's a silver one that comes normally with a silver band. That's brushed stainless, and both are available with a leather band in the box as well. So I mounted the leather band on this one to be a little more formal and classy looking.
Well, this is a smartwatch that actually looks like a watch.
Right.
I mean, that was a big criticism, I imagine. That's people, wanted to definitely
Right.
kind of not look too dorky.
So as much as Pebble was kind of like a colorful, playful, kind of sporty watch, we wanted to really crank it up a notch. Like crank it up to 11 is really the design idea behind it, and we. This is absolutely the level of refinement you'd expect from a watch. This is jewelry level of fit and finish and materials. It's a CNC machine, stainless steel. It's top-notch Gorilla Glass, etc.
Well, in the look of it, I mean, the screen is actually the same size physically before, but it feels more compact, and it also has this design that feels kind of like a classic throwback while still looking futuristic. And it, because of the glass, the original Pebble was a little bit curved, and so it threw off a little bit more glare. Sometimes the analog, to me, when I was using it, felt like more of a regular watch display.
Indeed, yeah. We went for that. The description you did about this kind of like modern yet kind of classic look is exactly what we were aiming for with this design. And it's essentially the guts from the original Pebble in a smaller, thinner, but slightly heavier and more substantial casing. But we've iterated on everything. The hardware that's in there is like 3 generations of us iterating on the hardware with the same e-paper display, the same 1-week battery life, the same 5-atmosphere waterproofness, a same magnetic type connector. It's actually a slightly different connector than the last one. It's smaller and sticks better. We also have a notification LED that's been added at the bottom here that can be programmed by developers once we give them access to that. So that's actually a new feature technically. But essentially, yes, it's the same as last year's model.
Yeah, it's interesting to play with it. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, can you tell me also about the App Store? Because I found it interesting when I was reading about it that essentially if I want to just check a football score with the ESPN, I can just kind of glance at my wrist instead of pulling out my whole smartphone.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
A lot of people are admiring the hardware we made, and we're very excited about that. But for us, actually, it's all about the ecosystem and creating an open platform. And until now, if you wanted to get apps for Pebble, you pretty much had to go hunting around. There were some ad hoc sites that came up and gathered our content. But starting at the end of the month, we'll have our own app store where we're consolidating all our content. And that means it's a lot easier. The discovery and the searching and the categorizing is going to be a lot easier for consumers. And we're on sale at Best Buy, AT&T, Amazon. Originally, we came from the Kickstarter culture, from the hacker and nerd culture, and we're not going to give that up because we love that, because it gives us all these incredibly cool apps, right? The people are wanting to develop for us. It's free to become a developer. Anybody can do it. But on the other hand, when you buy this off the shelf, when your mom, your uncle, your grandma wants it, they need to find these apps that are compelling in a central location in an easy way. So we're doing that, and Pebble pairs with your phone and shows notifications, and there's a Pebble app on your phone, and that's where the App Store resides.
What's one of your favorite apps so far?
I've got a bunch. There's one on my iPhone. It's actually called Pebble Cam, which I really, really love. If I pull out my iPhone, it basically lets you remote control your iPhone. So if I start up my iPhone real quick here, it's dead.
It's
not dead.
Well, the apps are what people have been waiting for too. I think there's all these promises of interesting new functions.
Yeah.
On the Pebble, and so that's something that original Pebble owners are going to be able to get access to as well.
You see, this is a viewfinder onto my camera.
Oh wow.
So I can now put this down like this. right? Get a little portrait of us going. Let's see. Gather around, look down a little bit, and we'll see.
I think get really low on this one.
Yeah,
Get real,
It's
get
really,
real cozy
really
with you
close. I
guys.
think my
we'll
nose.
get it.
Nose
And
and chin.
I can turn on and off the flash
You need
too.
a fisheye lens.
Let's see. I mean, obviously
but here
having a stand
it's
would help.
interesting that
Yeah.
it talks to the camera and can work
Yeah,
like
and
they
that.
can
so
show the image.
this is an example of. As you can see, there's only a bit of us, but there we are.
My lips.
Um,
Lip portrait.
Mostly because we were like this. But if I could prompt it up a little bit, it'd be
Yeah.
nicer. I've managed to get some pretty good pictures of some people here.
Yeah.
All the people
You know, in
who
the
have
same
taken
with the
pictures of
same
themselves
app.
with it. Yeah.
And so it's you know, you don't need this, but for selfies and group pictures, this comes in real handy.
When you also are working with Mercedes in terms of working on that car app that it
Correct.
deals with contextual awareness as well as getting diagnostic information on your cars.
I can actually
talk
quickly
about.
show you that. Right now, since I'm not in my car, actually, they lent me a Mercedes with which I drove from San Francisco to here. You can actually see where it is right here. You can see things like how much fuel is left in my car, the mileage on the car, the tire pressure, and this is all information it gathered when it last connected to the car. And then like my maintenance minder stuff, and this is where my car is at the Treasure Island parking lot right now.
I mean, that's the sort of stuff you hear about connected things and internet connected things, or the idea of the devices talking. That's the sort of stuff that'll be exciting to see. Besides the design, the App Store, we're going to look at some other stuff, but thank you so much for showing
Well,
us.
thank you. Yeah, and
It's,
so
it's
So the last thing I wanted to close with
Yeah.
is that, you know, we're one of the big things about the App Store is we announce partners, and I usually talk to two of them, Mercedes here, but there's you know, Foursquare, Yelp, Pandora. We have a Pandora remote, which is really awesome. ESPN is another one of our partners. GoPro, iControl. So we're going to introduce more and more partners as we go. That's one of the things. You want to make it, anything that's really compelling can be done really easily on your wrist. As like a microtransaction, we want to do.
Well, this is coming out really, really soon, so that's a look at the Pebble Steel, and it's one of the most talked about ones. Thank you, Miriam.
Thank you.
for
You can
showing
order
it.
this starting now, and it'll be shipping on January 28th.
Great, thank you. And that's not it. We also we have other watches. One is on my wrist right now, and it does something that not a lot of watches do, and it's actually the Hot Watch, which is something that we had heard about in the summer, and is going to be available very soon. It starts as low as $179, and the idea with Hot Watch is not only that it has the ability to run a variety of functions and watch faces, and be able to do fitness tracking and work with iOS and Android, but it actually has the ability to use a sort of parabolic sound effect to make phone calls using your hand. So right now, it's got a speakerphone in it. I'm going to call Shari Kamid with Hot Watches right over there, and we'll try this out. Oh yeah. So now I'm actually going to, I'm going to hold this up. Literally like an earphone, and try this out.
Like you're saying, I can't hear you.
It has a mic.
Speak up.
It has a little speaker right here that throws the sound. Oh, and I actually have to. So is it dialing? Yeah.
All right, we're gonna
We
get a
are
little
trying.
tech help here.
We're trying to dial.
You just connect it to the phone first.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
That's what you get for live, baby.
Live experimentation. Well, the idea is that it will call once it's paired and be able to throw. That's a feature that you don't see a lot. And when I used it, when you were demonstrating, it was actually, it was pretty neat to try out.
Okay, so now you're connected to the phone. Now
Okay,
you
well,
have to make the call.
Now I make the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you make
Well,
We will try making the call now.
you know,
It has a touch display, which is something that not all smartwatches have, but this it has little
it says dialing right
finger
now.
gesture controls that you do.
From my point of view, now, if you were walking around New York like that, I don't know.
I can hear it in my ear right now.
You can hear it ringing.
Ringing?
Yes,
How loud is it?
it's pretty good.
Is it loud enough to battle the crowds at CES?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Pretty good. I see you right over there. What's your favorite thing to eat for breakfast?
Favorite, what?
What's your favorite thing to eat for breakfast? Eggs? Okay, cool. Well, there we go. I did hear you. Talk to you later.
The most interesting breakfast conversation here at CES
Yes.
2014.
Weird wearable tech in watches, and that's a look at the Hot Watch and the Pebble Watch. Thank you to Hot Watch. Thank you to Pebble.
Thank you.
And,
Yeah, thank you
and,
for being
you
here.
know, there's a
And
lot
thank-
more going on at the show. And we're going to be back in a little bit. I'm Scott Stein.
I'm Bridget Carey, and we have even more wearable tech coming up next.